You are watching Knee Jerk Reaction with your boy London Bridges, bringing you updates from Max Velocity and the Severe Weather Center. Max is bringing us breaking news regarding Hurricane Milton. Any and all updates as it relates to the hurricane Cat 5 currently. It is set to hit Tampa, St. Pete, all Pinellas County, Hillsborough, Sarasota, Treasure Island. If you're down there, get out. We're in the middle of it. We want to make sure that we save as many lives as we possibly can. Uh, without further ado, I'm going to ask you guys to go ahead, hit the like, subscribe button, and I won't hold you. So let's go ahead and get to Max and let him do his thing. Appreciate you, Max. Let's go.
And this was from the remnants of Tropical Depression 11, which again, this is where it started. It was in the Pacific Ocean. It crossed over Mexico and went into the Atlantic Ocean. It's crazy how these computer models even picked up on that, to be honest. Because usually it would just fizzle out over land, especially as a depression. This was the model intensity guidance initially. We thought this was kind of crazy, to be honest, but like all of them were showing Cat 2, 3, or 4 intensity. 5 days in advance. And, we're now 5 days later. It's obviously a Cat 5. These models were still under what it even is, but like they at least show the possibility of it happening. So it's bananas. Bananas, I tell you. Thank you, Mitchell. Appreciate that. Also, thank you, Laureen, for the super chat. Can I get a 5-second update? I'm not going to lie. If I give you a 5-second update, I don't know what I would say. I'm going to put a little timer on. I'm going to give you a 5-second update just for the memes. Gotta put on the stopwatch. All right. I gotta try to like time this. So wait, can I even time 5 seconds? Hurricane Milton's gonna hit Florida as a Category 5 hurricane tomorrow as a Category 3. Couldn't do it quick enough. Oh, my alarm went off. All right. 5-second update. There you go. All right. Thank you also to Kat for the $20 Venmo. Appreciate the generosity. Milton's unofficially at 185 mile per hour winds. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much I don't know how much I trust that data. I don't know, man. They put a drop sound into the hurricane. Again, they measured 160 knots, which is equivalent to 185 of the surface for miles per hour. Thank you, Saturn, for the gift. Again, the chat's going too fast, so I miss you. I'm sorry. Thank you, Eyeball, for the super chat. Naples will probably see wind gusts up near 100 miles per hour. Wind speed's probably like 75, 85. 65, 85, I mean. Huh. Let me look at. See where the airplanes are at. Because there's another airplane about to fly through the hurricane. Thank you, Guy, for becoming a member. Thank you, Matt, for the super chat. I mean, this is what's been happening, right? So this is another fly through from the hurricane hunters. Pressure was at 904. Now it's up to 913. It's been gradually or it's been most rapidly increasing, which means that the intensity should be dropping. It shouldn't be really intensifying right now. So, like, I'm gonna be honest here. Like, I'd be surprised if this was a stronger. I'd be surprised if we had maximum sustained winds right now at like 185 miles per hour. And there's another aircraft that just flew through too, which is flying through as we speak. They've been measuring pressure pretty constantly, it looks like. At 908, 906, 907, it looks like on the last run there. Let's see if the wind speeds are being measured out on this. Their peak wind speed that they measured at flight level is about 145 knots, which would be right around where the intensity is at right now. They're doing another fly through now, so we'll see what their next fly through shows. Thank you, Vader, for the super chat. Appreciate the generosity. Thank you, Samantha, as well. My sister is in Cape Coral, and all zones included in the evacuation, or are all zones included in the evacuation? If anybody has an evacuation map for Cape Coral, at me on Twitter. I'll try to see if I can get that and show you. I would definitely recommend looking. I mean, I feel like you could find it on Google, to be honest, how popular this topic is right now. But if not, I'll try to see if somebody finds one for Cape Coral. Every county and every city is different. Like, if I knew every evacuation order for every town and city, I would literally be AI. Like, I don't know how in the world I would know everything, because like there's just so many happening. I would have to study for 4 weeks to actually remember all that stuff. So there's a lot of different evacuation orders for different areas, different sections, and different flood zones and different stuff like that. So thank you, Cyclonic, for the super chat. Really? New York? Zones A and B is so people are saying zones A and B for Cape Coral. I don't know where zones A and B are, but that's what they're saying. And if you live in Cape Coral, you should know your zone. So if you're in zone A or B, that's where they're saying mandatory evacuations are. The storm surge inundation map for Cape Coral, I'll pull that up. So this is like the Cape Coral area, top of your screen. All of that red that you're seeing, that is upwards of over 9 feet above ground level of water that's expected tomorrow. That's back up in like the Charlotte Harbor. And Cape Coral, for reference, is just south of that point. So if you look at Cape Coral, for some reason the labels aren't on here, but Cape Coral is right out here. So you can see there's going to be storm surge really everywhere, basically right along the coastline, but even going inland by a few miles, there will be storm surge. So depending on where you are, it's going to be more or less significant. Closer to the coast, you're obviously going to have more significant storm surge. And it'll also surge up into this like little river here, just to the east of Cape Coral, which is Fort Myers and down that part near LaBelle. So, hey, Selfless Flower for the super chat. Thank you also, Nicole. How wide is the eye? The eye is currently about 10 miles wide. That is the current width of the eye. Is orange bad? What do you mean orange bad? If you're talking about the colors that you're seeing on the top of your screen with the infrared imagery, that's what we're looking at the product. This is just the measurement of cloud tops and how cold they are. So the whites, the pinks, that's very cold cloud tops aloft. That's like negative 80 to 100 degrees Celsius for cloud tops, very cold. And then red and green are still tall clouds, but not as tall. And then anything like white is very low cloud tops. And then anytime that you see just like straight up, like almost black, that's typically not indicating like any clouds. So the eye of the hurricane, there's very little clouds right now, even there. It's almost a perfect eye. There's always going to be clouds in the eye. It just depends on how much. There's definitely a decent amount in there right now. Thank you, Ev, for the $20 super chat. Why did the hurricane go to party? Because it was a storming success. Ha, ha, ha. What a joke. Thanks for the $20 super chat. Appreciate it. Thank you, Archer, also for the $10 Venmo. Shout out to Beatrice. Appreciate you tuning in. In case you weren't here and didn't hear this fun fact, Hurricane Michael, back several years ago, was a retired Category 5 hurricane name, so that name no longer exists. It made landfall on October 10th. This hurricane, which is also a Category 5 right now, which will probably also be retired, Milton was actually the name that replaced Michael. So this is the first time Milton has ever been used as a hurricane name, and it will probably end up being retired. And it's also expected to make landfall either tomorrow night, which is October 9th, or it'll make landfall on October 10th, which would be kind of crazy because Michael made landfall on October 10th. If this makes landfall on October 10th, then this would be the second M name storm that this one just replaced Michael that would make landfall in Florida, which is kind of crazy. Hey, Tombo for the super chat. You also Clutter for the $10 super chat. That evacuation traffic is giving this Houstonian Rita PTSD. My heart is with Florida. Yeah, the traffic's actually clearing up quite a bit, at least on the cameras that we have at the bottom of your screen. The most bottom one, it's been clearing up. Well, I'll check in and look at the traffic map. Looks worse further up, so we'll check that out. Pop in a different camera here. The traffic's still pretty bad. It's been clearing up in the areas that we've had it on, which is good. It was really bad earlier. Like, the traffic was really bad earlier. It was literally abysmal. All right, we got mile marker 76 on the left side of your screen. So we'll update that. That's mile marker 76, I-75. Again, on the Florida dot traffic cams. And then the middle of your screen is the same spot, so we're going to change that. Is there any traffic up in like northern Florida anywhere, or is it kind of tame up there? I think it's been getting better. Yeah, the biggest traffic really recently has been on I don't know where this is, but this is also on the same interstate. Doesn't tell me a mile marker on this camera, but I do want to use it. Near the toll plaza. All right, we'll just do that. Yeah, still a lot of traffic. All right. By the way, if you're not already, make sure to follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Max Velocity WX. The links to those are in the description. We'll be posting updates on Hurricane Milton throughout tonight, tomorrow as well. Definitely recommend you follow me over there. Links in the description. You can also join our Discord server. That's down below. Also, if you are new to the channel, make sure to hit the red button down below and subscribe. Again, we are going to keep you posted with the latest. We'll have hurricane landfall coverage tomorrow. We'll be live here for the next several hours answering questions and eagerly awaiting the next National Hurricane Center update on Hurricane Milton. We get 1,700 more subscribers. We'll hit 485,000 as well, which is pretty bunkers. All right. Do you have any data on Kirk? Kirk is not anymore being tracked. It's a post-tropical cyclone. The next update from the National Hurricane Center is at 11 o'clock Eastern time. It can sometimes be as early as 30 minutes early. So it could be as early as 10:30. It's happened before. So not saying it will happen this time, but it has happened pretty frequently in the past. What is Michael and Milton's favorite Beyonce song? Irreplaceable. Another really bad weather joke. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Thank you also to Trucking for the $20 super chat. Looks similar to Matthew's skull face. And also Ryan says, spinning gritty to make Hurricane go the other direction. That'd be kind of lit, not gonna lie. If this hurricane could just get out of here and not exist, that'd be lit. Thank you also, Michael, for the $10 Venmo. How much storm surge for houses on Palma Solar Bay? Palma Solar Bay? Come on, near Bradenton. That area is currently expected to see between 10 to 15 feet of storm surge. And this is the latest storm surge map from the National Hurricane Center. Thank you, Girth, for the 5 Get to members. Put some W's in the chat for Girth. Thank you also, Joey, for the super chat. Sanibel Island will also probably see in the ballpark of 8 to 12 feet of storm surge. Storm surge, again, being the biggest concern for those islands. I mean, anything right near the coastline, storm surge is 100% going to be the greatest threat for those areas. We got another passage with the Hurricane Hunter aircraft. They just passed through. The wind speed's still around 145 knots, which is about 165-ish for wind speeds. This is the pressure. I got 2 different Hurricane Hunter aircrafts going through the hurricane. That's one look at it. And pressure being measured at 908, 906, 907, pretty much stationary. The other one has been measuring a bigger drop off of pressure. I'm not sure why there's so much of a discrepancy there, but somebody just mentioned me on Twitter and said my new hobby is listening to hurricane tracking for max velocity. It's a good hobby, not gonna lie. W hobby. I tagged you on Twitter with the Lee County flood zone map. Okay, let me see. I've been mentioned a lot of times, but I'll see if I can try to find it. Okay, this is kind of crazy, guys. Hey, this is crazy. I forgot about this clip. This happened 2 weeks ago, not even. A little under 2 weeks ago. When we were talking, this was when we did Helene coverage. Give me 1 second. I gotta fix the audio. I'll go back to this in a second. I actually, I think I might have called this, to be honest, or something. Once I gotta fix audio, and then I'll show you guys. Headphones relative. Okay, this is kind of crazy though. Talked about this literally like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Is due for a hurricane at this point. Like, I mean, like there. Go back a second. Landfalls in the last like 30 years. Near Tampa. I mean, Tampa is due for a hurricane at this point. Like, I mean, like. It's due for a hurricane to make landfall there. Just we talked about this, like, I mean, I didn't really say anything about this happening, but like, it's kind of crazy that we were literally just talking about this 2 weeks ago. Like, again, for those that are not familiar, a major hurricane has not made landfall in Tampa or even within 50 miles of Tampa in in 100 years. And I mean, we talked about it the other day, but that's just crazy that we were literally just talking about that 2 weeks ago. So it's your fault. Thanks. Yep, it's my fault. My bad, guys. I had cheese curds to go along with it. I don't think that helps. You Owen for the $20 Venmo. Appreciate that. But yeah, it's crazy that we were literally just talking about that last week. I mean, or the week before. I mean, again, Helene was 2 weeks ago. So yeah, I didn't. For the record, I did not say it was going to happen this year, so it's not my fault. Okay, Max predicted Milton. I didn't. Did not predict Milton. I guess I can say I semi predicted something to happen near Tampa, though. It's kind of crazy though. I mean, we talked about it. It's crazy. And we were talking about the reason why I brought that up is because we were talking about historical data when we were talking about Helene before it made landfall. And we were talking about like how there's not been a hurricane in Tampa Bay or within that area in like 100 years. So forgot all about that clip. Hey, Garth, the super chat. You've doomed Tampa. Bruh. You, Alex, for the super chat. Lakewood Ranch trying to get my family to leave. If Lakewood Ranch is not going, I don't think Lakewood Ranch is going to see storm surge. They might. You have to look at the storm surge inundation map, but if they're not going to see storm surge, hurricane force winds the greatest concern. If they're in a sturdy 2-story building, I mean, it's still dangerous, but it's going to be a little bit safer. So, but winds are going to be the biggest concern there, really. Shout out to James as well for the $10 Venmo. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, RJ, for the super chat. You said it was rare for the storm to form where it did. Is there a reason why that is? Well, yeah, the reason why it's rare is because we don't usually see hurricanes come out of the. First off, we've never seen a major hurricane hit Florida that is developed here in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. It's never happened in our recorded history, at least in the last 100 years. I don't know about beyond that, but in the last 100 years, we've not had a major hurricane develop in this part of the Gulf. And hit Florida, especially an easternly moving hurricane. But the other crazy thing is that this began in the Pacific Ocean and moved into the Gulf. But it was only a tropical depression. So it's very rare. And on the other side of things, what makes it even more rare is that this is the first Category 5 hurricane that we've ever had in the Atlantic that has been moving east or east southeast. So that's also very rare. I think at least in the Gulf of Mexico. I don't know about the entire Atlantic, but at least in the Gulf of Mexico. It's very rare to have an easterly moving Cat 5. like last night, or two, it's just weakening in nature. So not entirely sure yet which of the two that is currently doing, but I do think there might be another eye wall replacement cycle happening inside of Hurricane Milton, which again would be the second one that we've had in the last like 30 hours. So